Welcome to Illuminate Presents. We're here with the legendary Mr. Melvin Van Peebles. I love hearing the story about Watermelon Man and how you took your ending that you wanted for that film.
There's a history to that everything falls into sections. I came back to America, to the States, as a French director, with a French feature that won the 1967 San Francisco Film Festival, with a feature film. And that was very nice, etc. But it was also very, very, very embarrassing to Hollywood, because at that time, all places were being encouraged to have a colored one or two people, and that's where you came with the title, Spook, sit by the door. But Hollywood didn't have any black directors, because they weren't ready for it yet, a thousand things. And I was offered a job. However, I didn't take a job when I won the festival, because they would have been using me to not give anybody else a job. And so, as a matter of fact, I used to live on the park bench across from Women's House of Detention, because I wouldn't do that. Because my idea that there was then going to freeze Hollywood. They couldn't, well, they're not ready yet, we're going to hire one of these days. But my presence on the festival and in France had put them to shame. And so two brothers got a job. Gordon Parks made Learning Tree, and that was the other film, Cotton Comes to Harlem. Now, what is really very interesting, Cotton Comes to Harlem was written by one of my friends that was living in Paris, and I had turned that's the book, which was very good, into a comic strip in one of the companies I worked for in France. So it all came around, but then after they hired two, there was one thing that hadn't been done, and that was they kept, both of these films were not in Hollywood, they were on set. But I said that was the next step I thought I wanted to open for us. And that step was that I wanted the blacks to be able to come to Hollywood, to shoot in Hollywood. And I said I finally agreed to shoot a film, because it was still very embarrassing to have me running around in a whole other continent, because I couldn't get a job here. And they agreed, but I had one function. It had to be in Hollywood, because I thought that would be the next place I wanted to open for the folks. Okay, fine. And they got, oh, we got just a film, and they named all these people who this is, and you could get. And when I got the script, I said, I called my agent. I had an agent once, only one time. After that, ever since I was doing it all myself, I said, you sent me the wrong script. This guy's black. He says, yes, but he starts off white. I said, he's white maybe 2 minutes of the credits. That's, let a black guy do. Why's he got to do it you think a white guy can play black, but a black guy can't play white. So yeah, is that possible? Hmm? And that's how I got Godfrey, who I didn't know very well, but turned out to be very good for the part, etc. That's that's what happened. After the film was finished, a la Melvin, and that is my style, because I changed the ending. So I discussed it with them, and they said, no, let's do it this way. I said, no, I want to do it this way, because in the movie, or in the original script, the guy, the lead, turned white again, and so everything was right. He woke up one morning, he was black, movie, wake up later, it was only a bad dream. I said, homie, don't play that. Being black is not going to be a bad dream. And so we came to a decision that we shoot it both ways, the ending. I could shoot it both ways, and then we'd make a decision. Okay. Well, I lied. I only shot it my way. And I remember I was back in France. I got a call. Oh, we can't find the other ending. Oh Lord, I must say I done forgot to do it. And they showed it anyway to check it out. And Columbia didn't have black workers there. They only had one worker. He was a shoeshine boy. And as luck would have it, as the executives were making this decision, the shoeshine boy had snuck in, and he was watching the movie too. And when the movie was over, everybody started to leave. So, well, and the shoeshine boy runs out. Oh my Lord, God, that was the greatest movie I ever saw. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna tell my wife. This is what she's like. It. Oh, I loved it. So, Mel, I think you got a film. And that's how that movie came to be. Meantime, when they left, I gave the guy $10 I had him to pay. I paid him to come in there. He liked it anyhow, but besides, why take a chance? That's what happened.
In Watermelon Man, Mantan Moreland is in that film. Now, he did a lot of roles that were considered stereotypical, but at the same time, a lot of these black actors were really talented and, they were brilliant.
That's exactly how I felt. And that's why I went and got it. And the brother was great. Yeah, give him a shot. But he had to play what he had to play because he had to eat. And Mario did the same thing later when he did Posse. He went and got the football player who had been in movies but never had the shot of being somebody. That was great, man. Yeah, the people weren't doing, they had to do what they had to do if they had wanted to eat. But that didn't mean that's where their heart was.
With black actors and comedians, it seems like it's a very slippery slope where on one hand, we have a right to be funny, we have the right to be comedian, but it seems like, how do you navigate between what's funny and what's buffoonery and derogatory? It seems like it's really hard.
What you say? What you're allowed to say. Now, it mixes all up, etc., etc., and that's fine. They got a right to be funny, stupid, this, that, and the other, but it ain't just because they color. Great.
So I know you've talked about X-rated films being like, when you grew up, you see these horrible depictions of African Americans in movies, and cause like, why is that not X-rated? Why is that not forbidden? Could you talk a little bit about your experience watching?
What happened? After the making of Watermelon Man, and it did well. They said, well, you got any more of this? And And I gave my script that I'd written myself. I didn't write. I rewrote Watermelon Man. And what happened was I came with the real deal. I was sweet, sweetback, badass songs. And nobody would do this. And Columbia tore up my contract. And so there I was back out on the streets again. The street don't bother me. I was born and bred in the Briar Patch, born and bred in the Briar Patch. And I shot the movie myself. That is, I got a crew, put it together, etc., etc. And Bill Cosby, when I finished the movie, gotten it shot, and finished, that is, the shooting part, and I ran out of money. And Bill Cosby loaned me money, loaned me 50 grand. Okay, to help finish it up.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, he hadn't even seen it, but the bro stood by me. Many times people get a little bit of bling and they go into the other side. No, Bill stood by me. But after I finished the film and everything, no theater would take it. And only 2 theaters in the entire United States would do it. And the way I got the first theater was in Detroit, Michigan. A couple of theaters would take it if they part of a double feature. I said, there's no double feature, it just comes out, but and black films were not shown. Even if they had Portier or other big names in it, they were not shown as single features. So no, I want to go, and only 2 theaters in the United States would do that. And the first one was in Detroit, Michigan. The Goldberg twins said they take this a thing. But I had talked to them, and they said, okay, so I'll bet you that I'm going to do better than you did last week. She says, you bet? She says, yeah. And there was, I said, okay, so what do you bet? I said, I'll bet you a suit. So there are 2 of us, they're identical twins, nice guys. He said, and only one of you, I said, okay, I'll bet you 2 suits against 1. And so they agreed to do it. That's how I talked them into doing Sweetback. And this is the suit I won. The Goldberg twins gave me the suit. Had it made. Hello. Yeah. So that's what happened. After that, when people saw what it was doing in the box office, in fact, for 1 or 2 weeks there, it was the top film in the United States. It changed everything. Changed everything. Shaft was originally supposed to be a white detective. If you ever see Shaft, notice something. One scene, he's coming out to get a cab, and the cab goes past him. And he goes like this. Now, what black boy would ever go like that when a white cab passed him? He would know that. But they didn't take because but that changed everything. Then that then became the blaxploitation movies, so forth. But I managed to break Hollywood.
What do you think of the direction that a lot of those films, and you had like Superfly and all these films, what do you think of the direction that these films went in?
Well, the direction was, it was for once, it began where people of color could be in a film without scratching their head all day and doing secondary jobs. However, still all of them had white bosses even on the slide, but Sweetback didn't have any.
The Black Panthers, how did they support the film, and what was your affiliation with them? How were they? And it seems like that's something that's really lacking nowadays with this, like that strong, like black unified leadership that's going on. Can you talk a little bit about how they influenced and helped make the film popular?
Well, when the film opened, it opened on a Wednesday in Detroit, and the first two ladies of color and the first two people that all went into the theater. This is a big theater. Hmm? they walked out after about 20 minutes. They thought it was a different kind of film. The next show there wasn't anybody. The next show, and the brothers and everybody else were like, So about 4 or 5 guys showed up, and black guys, all black. And the third show, after about a half an hour, they came and all walked out. Those were the Panthers. I didn't know them, they didn't know me, but they said the fourth show, there are people around the corner, all the way around. I made more in one night, one afternoon, than had ever been made at that theater. Changed everything. And the DJs did something that hadn't been done before, the black DJs. Normally when you make a movie, if it's a musical, they might bring out the music 2 or 3 months later, 2 or 3 weeks later. Everybody else started bringing out the music before the before the movie had even hit. And the music was played. I wrote all the music and everything. They were played by a group that was their first album, and they went in. Didn't give me nobody gave me trouble. But they were wonderful, and they played the music the way I wanted, and what I wanted, and so forth. That was called a group called Earth, Wind and Fire. That changed everything. In fact, everybody else started to have a film. They would bring the music out before so the audience could get to it. In between the DJs, the party, the Panther party, and word of mouth, a whole nother ball game. When I got down, like a bad movie, the only other theater that was told to play was in the Deep South. And in fact, I get to the theater, it opened on a Saturday, I get to the theater, and I hear, it's quiet because by the time I left in Detroit, everybody was screaming and hollering and loving it. I go into this theater, you could hear a rat pissing on cotton. Or just outside, I said, don't worry, the people are going to come. So, no, the theater's full. The word had already gotten down from Wednesday to Friday. And I go into the theater, and it's all colored people. They wouldn't let even be allowed in that theater a couple of months ago. And I found one seat. And it's like this is all true, man. There was next to a little old lady. And the movie was playing, it was quiet. Where I had left Detroit, by that time people screaming, yeah, go, bro. You could hear a rat pissing on cotton. And the woman started talking when Sweetback is in the desert. She said, oh Lord, let him die. Let him die. Don't let them kill him. Because if they had a black sort of hero in any movie before that, he didn't done anything halfway big time, he was dead. You knew he was going to die before the movie was over. Don't let them kill him. That was so interesting to me. But of course, he didn't die. Changed everything. That's what happened.
I want to talk, of course, about Badass and your son Mario. Did you inspire him to do it? He just came up on his own and said, I want to do a film about my father doing...
Mario called me one day and said, Dad, I would like to do a film about the making of Sweetback, etc. And it was so interesting. Well, buy it from me. So he bought it from me, and I never came to the set because it was his movie and I wanted it to be his movie. And only at the end, I made comments at the end. Fine, no problem. Fine. It's not for me. It's very, very often that people say, well, Melvin, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? What do you think? They got it out there. We're working on it, so forth. I don't expect everybody to be me. I expect them to go their way. Would you have done this or would you have done that? I don't know. Depends. Oh, you want to know like this? I did this one, huh? She says, ex mono voto, a ghetto mother's prayer. Well, what's a ghetto mama pray for, huh? She prays for a child not to have trouble. And when I finished this, I wanted to put a frame around it, and I did. That was fine, but it was lacked something. Wings, because you make this to go up to the Lord. So that's why you got wings on it. This, well, I eat a lot sometimes, and so it looks like this, but this, I could have put built or bought one of them other things, or one of them. That's what I do. And this is I made all this stuff, okay? In fact, I know you may not believe this, but I got somebody in there. They keep trying to get out from time to time. But we won't let that bother us, okay? Shut up! They blame my mama, they blame my papa, but they won't blame me.